Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of Superman and Lois, Season 1, Episode 3. This one is called The Perks of Not Being a Wallflower, of course, based on the book and the movie. Okay, I'm loving this show so far. It's been really good. The writing has been excellent. The action's been fantastic. And the actors have been great. I'm actually loving this show. It's one of my favorite CW shows, like I said, that's come along. And I'm really happy that it's good. And it's already been renewed for us second season, which is fantastic news. Anyway, this episode kind of begins with them painting their living room, I guess, or dining living / dining room, and then of course it evolves into a kind of friendly family paint fight, which is always great to see the interaction. Like I said, the actors are really comfortable with each other, and it really shows in this show, which really makes it worth fantastic to watch because you really can tell the love that there's there, and it really it's great when it. And of course, during this, now that everybody knows that, the family knows, the sons know that he's Superman, he actually picks up in the middle of their paint fight a distress call, somebody screaming for help. And of course, he immediately takes off. But I love that Lois continues the paint fight even after, Clark has, gone into Superman mode and left. And of course, we get this great scene of him, I think he was in China, flying to China and stopping this bridge that collapsed and saving a bunch of people and just doing his Superman thing, which again really makes it really good to see the Superman action. And now that the kids are in on it, he doesn't have to hide it, and so that's the great thing. And Lois is selling in, working for the Smallville Gazette. Okay, and of course, the lady that runs everything, she's trying to explain to Lois how things are, and how it's not really much big news here, but Lois is determined to concentrate on the Morgan Edge angle, what he did to, what he's trying to do to Smallville and what he did to previous towns. And so they get a visit from a lady that's saying that her husband was given this special assignment and he vanished. He never, he left her a mysterious message and saying that the assignment didn't turn out to be what he thought it was going to be. And then he's vanished and they don't know where he is. And Lois agrees to meet with this lady again later, and that goes on. Meanwhile, with the kids at school, Jordan, he gets assaulted. Oh, not assaulted. He gets talked to by by Sarah's, Lana's daughter, her boyfriend, and his friends, and you see Jordan, he's trying to hold back his powers, and Jonathan sees this, and of course he tries to step in, but of course there's more of them than him, and Jordan has to kind of hold back, his, releasing his power on this guy, because it takes all his effort to not go full Superboy on this dude that's being a real dick to him at the moment. And then of course we see that Clark, and what's a great thing about the show is because early in the episode, Clark explains to his son that he from the time he was small, his father, and they taught him how to, focus on one thing, how to tune everything else out, and focus on one singular thing. And so he actually, while Clark was home, trying, fix a tractor at the farm, he actually was, listening in on his sons at school. So he, makes the super dash to the school and just happens to show up, okay, in the hallway, and of course the kids walk away from bullying Jordan and Jonathan, and of course the kids are mad. They're mad that because they know that now that the father was listening in on them, and he explains that he has from time to time listened to his son to try to find out what's going on. And of course they're outraged that the father is listening in on them, even though I don't think that's much of a big deal. But they they feel that father was spying on them and they didn't even know. So they feel a certain kind of way about that. Okay, which is and we also visit Sarah. Sarah's having a hard time. She's in cheer practice with her mom, who's the coach, Lana, who's the coach, and she just is just fed up with it, and she gets into an argument with her mother and just literally walks away and quits and walks away. And later we see Sarah with the Kent boys in the diner. They're talking. And, oh yeah. I'm sorry, let me back up a bit. There's a scene later that you see when they go to school. Jordan, he happens to overhear Sarah breaking up with her boyfriend. I don't even know from all previous descriptions, I don't, or what you've seen of him, I don't even know why she was going out with him, to be perfectly honest. But she dumps him, and he can, Jordan can hear it from, they're like 2 levels above him, but he can hear it because they're arguing loud, so he hears it. And of course, one of his friends, his buddies, kind of gives Jordan a shove, but that makes Jordan, that gives Jordan an idea, and he decides that he's going to try it for the football team. Okay, he's going to try it for the football team. And of course, Jonathan is horrified, saying, "Why are you doing this?" And of course, what he does is he uses his powers to start knocking players on their behinds, and the coach, which of course impresses the coach, and the coach kind of takes it out on Jonathan, basically making him run laps for keeping his brother a secret from him, which is, of course, that's going to piss off Jonathan that he made him do that. But later on, like I said, they're in the diner, chatting with with Sarah, and she asks Jordan. She didn't know he was a football player, and him and Jonathan kind of laugh it off. And of course, then Sarah's mother walks in on them, and she wants to have a discussion with Sarah about her quitting the cheer team, and she basically and she wants to talk in private, but Sarah is not having it. She says, whatever you can say it right here in front of the Kent boys, and of course they get into this big argument, and of course the Kent boys are kind of embarrassed because they're arguing back and forth in front of them, and they don't know how to feel about that. And of course she storms off, and Lana storms off after her, and then of course Clark comes in, and later he apologizes to the boys for spying on them and saying listen, it's just something I do, but I promise not to do that anymore. I just it's a learning thing. Him being a more hands-on type of father, he has to he'll try to quit doing that and lay low and stuff and let the boys be the boys. Okay, and then later on, like I said, they find Clark finds out that Jordan actually joined the team, and of course he's still terrified that Jordan's gonna use his powers and be exposed, and stuff, and that's gonna possibly bring harm to the family. So he's against it. But of course, Jordan gets into a big argument, and he gets into an argument with Jonathan, who's mad because it just looked like Jordan is trying to steal his spot. Football was the one thing he had that he could do. And now Jordan's kind of honing in on it, so he's kind of pissed off about that. But later on, you see he sees the effect that football has on Jordan, that it makes him more outgoing, and it kind of gives him an outlet. He even sees that some friends are calling, him, football team players are calling, Jordan to, go over plays and stuff. And which really, again, another effort that shows that Jonathan is a really good brother, that he sees this, and then he goes to, to his father and says, listen, I know you were all about, him quitting the team and not using his powers and stuff, but he says, listen, this is giving Jordan an outlet to do something and be more positive. So why don't you, let him do this, and I'll watch out for him, and I'll watch his back. And Clark reconsiders it, and he says, you know what? Okay, we'll do this. And then, of course, what a great thing is, Clark goes to the coach and volunteers to be like an assistant coach, and he plays the goofy dad role. He acts like he can barely pick up one of these coolers and stuff, and he needs his son's help to carry it. And they kind of bond with that, and Clark is gonna, keep his eye. Being an assistant coach, he can keep his eye on his sons and make sure that nothing crazy happens. And I love that moment where they bonded, and again, another effort where you see Jonathan really cares about his brother, because of course he was mad initially at his brother for joining the football team and kind of outshining him, but he saw that it was something positive that was for his brother, and he went to talk to their father to his father let him play football and have an outlet and be positive and make friends. And I thought that was just really again, another great example of how these Kent boys are really close brothers, and they have each other's backs. Okay, and I love that. Now the other part about we'll go back to is Lois. Again, Lois was agreeing to meet this lady who was had the suspicion about Morgan Ed's having her husband disappear, working on some dangerous assignment, and she was going to meet her at a hotel room. Okay, and she actually shows up, and we see the hotel room has been destroyed and obliterated. And then Lois walks into the room further, and she sees the lady, on the floor, like half conscious. Okay, and then of course she turns around and she sees, there's a big guy that's been following her that we've seen throughout the episode. A big, tall guy, but that's been following her. And even I think he's even blew up a car. Lois Clark blew up earlier, okay, in the episode. And Lois was non-plussed about it because obviously working in working for the Daily Planet in the big city, she was used to being threatened and all that stuff. So she kind of, it doesn't faze her that happened. But of course, the big Russian guy, she tries to run, but the big, I don't think he's Russian, but the big guy, he grabs her and he, starts tossing her around and she fights back. And then she has a Superman signal beeper and she